motorsports world. Obviously, last night you had some racing going on. PA Speed Week taking off. Lucas Oil Speedway, the Diamond of Dirt, putting on a heck of a show. We are going to talk about that, but as pretty much the A main was running with the High Limit Racing Series at Lucas Oil, we had some horrific news come across the social media platforms. And, you know, doing this news or talking about things in motorsports thing, you know, you have to kind of talk about everything that's happened in motorsports. You know, some of the crazier things like the Ashton Torgerson thing, when that happens, when that happens, you know, it's so insane. It's so crazy. It's never seen before. Luckily, in that situation, nobody was technically severely injured, unlike the news today. But this right here is just next level. And unlike other things in safety and fires and gas and tanks and fencing and you know, drop-offs or this or that, there's not too many ways that we can think to fix or rectify the situation. And that's when things are extremely sad, because there's some of those situations where it's just not something that we can restrict. It's almost like, you know, our time clock on Earth. You know, for some reason, I guess people think they can live forever, but unfortunately, you know, the realisticness of mortality for everyone that's alive right now, breathing, old, being born, middle age, teenage, unfortunately for everybody, you know, the reality, the thing we cannot combat as human beings is mortality. It's something we all have to deal with and face. But how that mortality happens is something we try to control, it seems like. And when something that is, you know, so random, so out of control, something that is impreventable, if that's even a damn word, when something like that happens, that's when the sting hurts a little bit more in the mortality department. So what I am speaking of is probably what most of you have heard about by now. Quincy and Tri-State Citizens News and Updates. This was posted also to the Unforgettable NASCAR group on Facebook, crazily enough. And it says, breaking news at the Jacksonville, Illinois Speedway in Jacksonville, Illinois. A sprint car spun out while going around the track and into the infield, striking individuals standing in the infield area. One confirmed fatality so far and one seriously injured. Please pray for these individuals and their families. We all know that auto racing can be unpredictable at times, and this is one of the worst case scenarios, unfortunately. The races were canceled after the incident occurred. Still gathering more information at this time. Latest update, the throttle had apparently stuck on the sprint car, so this was a sprint car incident, which caused it to unexpectedly spin out. Two male track officials were the individuals who were struck. There may be a third individual hit also, but not confirmed. Names will not be released at this time. This is an unfortunate situation. Once again, unpredictable. One of those things. It's like when a fire thing happens. All right, let's develop a new tank, or when these back injuries happen in sprint car racing, we're like, okay, well, we can develop these pucks, or maybe we need a new sprint car chassis. And as an imaginative as a situation as that is, it's like, at least you could maybe do it. You know, you could maybe make a new sprint car. You could come out with a new gas tank that is better for the sport. But, you know, in this scenario, or like Riverside fences, oh, they need new fences. Well, you could build new fences. I'm just saying, in this scenario, there really is no fix. This is something that is completely uncontrollable and random. You know, when a throttle is stuck on a sprint car, It's already a fire breathing monster. Now it's released. So that's the unfortunate situation here, is that it is uncontrollable. Now, obviously, it was track officials, so we can't say it was some kind of pedestrian being an idiot or something like that. It was people who were just doing their damn job, and suffered ill-righteous, unfair, unjust consequences for being in the infield. So there's just nothing good out of this situation. I mean, cherish life every day, I guess. Is that the reminder we get? You never know when it's over or something. There's just really no good topics out of this scenario. I really just don't know what else to say. Prayers to the family. I did pray last night. I've been starting to pray a little bit more. Obviously, relationship with God, I think everybody should have that. But regardless, yeah, actually doing it, even though people make fun of it, it sometimes can help and sometimes can develop. Anyways, we are going to switch topics because this topic is just pretty sad. Chase Rodman's playlist. I had to make this post. Said, thank you, Chase Rodman, for the best high limit racing playlist of the entire year. Somebody gets it. 100% true. Chase Rodman, every single song hit the chord. It was new. It was refreshing. It was, if you pulled somebody from the outside world in, we haven't done that in a long time. I know y'all, out there with your buggies and your horse, still want to listen to old Alan Jackson and his hoochie coochie, I'm sure. But Chase Rodman came out there and actually performed, very well in his high limit playlist debut. I thought it was something that the sport needs. I just wanted to say this. So, but before we get into our next topic about the racing, we got to give props to Chase Rodman on his accomplishment. I would say this is a huge accomplishment for sprint car racing to have somebody in there who gets it. I don't want to make fun of Johnny Gibson and his old school long-haired rock and roll because that is the main fan base, and he is playing towards their needs. So I guess that's, Johnny Gibson appeasing the fan base we have, Chase Rodman trying to appease the fan base we need, which is out there in the regular world, black and yellow. I did hear Tony Laporta say they need black and orange, and they may need a remix. Hey, I've been known to pull some pretty good cover songs off, Chase. Let me know. I'm just saying. I'm chasing you, like a Shots and Larry. But anyway, speaking of Shots and Larry, today's show's not going to be some big long hour or anything like that, but we do got to talk about somebody. We do. And that's your winner from last night. Freaking Tyler Courtney came from ninth. Made some lucky fan $4,500. This Durst dice roll is amazing. I mean, is anybody not impressed? I mean, this is giving fans something they've never had before. Free money. I mean, come on. Who doesn't like free money? Oh. Be funny when they go to file taxes. I'm interested on that. But regardless, when I sat here and I watched Tyler Courtney win that race and drive, from where he came from, ninth. And after Dave crashed, it was a great race, by the way. Cy Lynch, everybody, Lucas Oil Speedway, diamond of dirt. It hasn't really got any premier 410 sprint car racing just because there has been an underlining battle between people for years, believe it or not. You're like, why is the World of Outlaws never went to that track? This corporatism battle that everybody's kind of seeing on the forefronts with High Limit Flow, Dirt Vision, World Racing Group, and all this stuff, all these tracks. Oh, this can't race there because they're high. This guy and this series and that affiliation. This has been happening for years upon years. Why has Lucas Oil Speedway not had a World Outlaw event? Question mark. This is why I can talk about, because I was in the industry for so long. And I pay attention when I'm in any industry, and when I'm exposed to anything, I'm always looking and trying to learn how it operates. That's what we do with our, or that's what we're supposed to do. Our greatest skill is not physical ability. It's not running. It's not swimming. It's not lifting things. It's not our greatest physical ability as a human being. Our greatest physical ability as a human being, if you ain't noticed, is our minds. We are superior animals on this planet because we think better than everybody else. We figure things out. So if you come to a point in your life where you're not thinking about stuff and you're doing physically too much, and it's just to get things off your mind, well, that's because you're not being trained technically to utilize your mind and think. Or maybe the system around you doesn't want you to think at all. That's kind of what I was talking about with the whole Larson Day, sending another California driver to, and you're not thinking, why does that happen? You're just you're indulging, you're being manipulated. You wonder why, or you don't. Or the show is so good you don't pay attention to why you actually like what you do. This is how those things actually operate. This is how really smart people who run a lot of things, do. So they understand that your thinking prowess is your power, and they use it monetarily most of the time. And that's how this stuff works. That's how society operates. It's manipulation 101. Manipulation is marketing at the end of the day. Manipulation is selling you a product. Manipulation is selling you a dream. Manipulation is selling you a person, not knowing what it's actually doing for or against you. Because you ain't worried about thinking about that. You're worried about the selling point. Which brings me up to Tyler Courtney. We've obviously talked a lot about sprint car racing and late model racing in that Larson Day reference about, California drivers going to NASCAR and taking the sprint car fan base, and our sprint car drivers that are left over are second tier, drivers to the sprint car fan base. And in the late model industry, Ricky Thornton Jr.'s come on up and do it the hard way, the working way, and the Davenports and the Bloomquists have the fame of a Kyle Larson in the late model racing industry. And to not be a second tier driver in the late model racing industry, all you have to do is go up there and beat Scott Bloomquist and Davenport in a dirt super late model. And you can acquire the same level of fame and stardom by the late model fan base. And that's why I think in their own ecosystem of late model racing, the stars are more important. They matter more. They can sell out arenas, sell out shows, pay $50,000, pay more than sprint car racing has been for a long time, and do all these things monetarily because their stars of their industry are at the racetrack every single weekend. Larson can't come in there and his t-shirt trailer just tank Davenports or Bloomquist like Larson can these individuals in the sprint car racing industry. I've seen it myself. This is personal testimony. So, when I think about a Tyler Courtney, and thinking about him as the driver, I was thinking about when Tyler Courtney was going up through the field, and I saw him coming. I saw he was going to win it. He knows how to get around the racetrack, and I'm like, damn it, the talent is just so damn good. And I started thinking of the career of a Tyler Courtney, and I started thinking of a post I made actually yesterday, and I want to share this post. And this is a reason why I love the Ricky Thornton Jr. story more than a Corey Day story, more than a Kyle Larson story, more than a Jeff Gordon story, more than any of them. Any of them. This is a picture right here of Ricky Thornton Jr.'s IMCA modified on a flatbed trailer with his truck from 2015. Our trip begins. This is when he's leaving Arizona. This is after being one of the most dominant drivers in Arizona. This is after beating USMTS in an IMCA modified, I do believe. Modified people correct me. I remember this happening, but maybe I had a dream. And this is about dreams and reality. This is after he did all this in Arizona. This is after winning his one and only non-wing sprint car event. He raced one non-wing sprint car event, tried it out one night, won the damn race on a last lap pass on the local hot ringer guy. They did a driver swap. The sprint car driver drove his modified. He drove his sprint car one night. So after he did all this, he put his damn life on the line, put a car on a flatbed, and in 2015 drove to North Dakota. And ever since then, Ricky Thornton Jr. has won in every damn thing he's ever got in and raced his way to where he's at today. And I was talking about Ricky Thornton Jr. You can go talk to all these sprint car people. And hell, I was trying to get Ricky Thornton in a sprint car 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like, our Silver Crown car as well. I was telling them all, this guy's coming, this guy's coming. Of course, Kyle Larson and Ricky Thornton Jr. and all these people know why I know this. We all sat in a cabal back 20 years ago and figured all this stuff out, who was going to be the stars and everything. That's why I'm on your screen right now. But regardless, this, to me, is what we should be promoting to young people in the grandstands, adults who want to get into racing. If you got the talent, you can do it. And this is what I was saying here. I literally made a post. I said, this is an obtainable dream. By working extremely hard, believing in yourself, and bringing your helmet bag with talent. That is why I support RTJ more than any other racing star. To be like RTJ, you just need a truck and a flatbed. You don't have to hit the NASCAR lottery at 16 years old after getting the rare chance to drive $100,000 race cars that few are literally chosen to have the chance to do. I like competition. I like work ethic. I like fair and equal opportunity. I like giving kids and future stars from any walk of life the idea of a way to dream if you are that damn good. And that is the example that RTJ provides. Anybody could do this. Anybody could get on this, and in the fendered world, you're allowed to do this. You don't have to be a young gun to get opportunity. You just have to go out there and win. Believe in yourself. Have the actual talent. You don't have to be in a certain age range racing extremely valuable race cars. How is a 8-year-old or 9-year-old or 10-year-old kid dreaming to be Corey Day one day, for instance, or Larson or any of them, or Gordon, which is the originator of this idea? How can you dream to become that? That kid, if he's from a working middle-class family, he's never going to be able to have that opportunity. But he can have the opportunity to do this. And that made me think of something while I was watching this guy run around the racetrack and drive to victory lane, make $4,500 damn dollars for a fan. The guy who went from non-wing sprint car racing to winged racing, the best transitioner, the best, we could probably say the best outside of a Larson and a Bell and these marquee groomed drivers. This is potentially one of the best all-around sprint car driving talents that we have seen outside of that list I just named you, as far as being able to be in anything. Silver Crown, non-wing, midget, wing car. Just jump around into anything. He's done, he did the late model as well. Didn't do too bad. So, I mean, as far as the sprint car racing industry, like I say, the sprint car fan base in this second tier category, the non-cold trickles, this is probably the A1 of the industry. It's hard to combat that, right? It is hard to combat that. Who in the sprint car racing industry outside the trickles, the Larsons, the Bells, the now Corey Days, the chosen few, who else has done what this guy's done? Who? In all elements, not just with the wing on the top. And then you also have to think of the dream aspect, the Ricky Thornton Jr. aspect. You know, if like I say, the detriment of being teaching young kids or aspiring drivers, because you have to go, maybe that 10-year-old kid has to go maybe get a college degree and a job or to build the money to even have a sprint car one day. So, or a dirt late model or a modified. So he's going to have to get to at least 24, getting a college degree or going and getting a trade. He's going to have to find a way to make all this money before he can even think about getting on the track. So we got to start thinking about obtainable goals for regular people instead of unrealistic expectations, instead of fallacy dreams, instead of injected lips and Brazilian butt lifts. What I mean by that, you look at Tyler Courtney and how did he get to where he is? And out of all of the examples in the sprint car racing industry, not the co-trickles, which those examples, I'm just throwing those out. But out of all the stars of sprint car racing, who did it like this guy? Who, in the Tyler Courtney story, I mean, I haven't studied it, but, we talk about merit in the sport. I mean, but this was a guy, or the lack of merit. I mean, this was a guy who literally, didn't come from a bunch of money. Went to working. Once again, if I get the story wrong, you tell me, but I have general knowledge of it. Went to working in shops with the Clausen regime, started working hard with the team, learning the ins and outs of the sport. I think he had enough money to do some micro racing with his brother. Of course, what is it, Tyler Tucker, or whatever the other name is. Taylor Courtney, I believe that's it. Taylor Courtney. They have micros, relatively budget class, a middle class family can afford something like this. So once again, back to the obtainable goals of life that you're going to project. So you think about this stuff, and he goes and works, and obviously lucks into, after working really hard, lucks into driving a car and kind of, performs decently well. Then faces the tragedy with the Clausen scenario. Then gets opportunities from that. Because who else? And then, similar to a Ricky Thornton Jr., the more opportunities he got to get on the track, the more ass he laid down on behind him and put it on him. He went out there and earned every damn lap he got. And made other people pay for it as he was driving by him. And then raced up into the stages that he did. I just saw a recent picture of Tyler Courtney. I think Knoxville, it was like a 22 car and a wing car. Not necessarily got into the best of the best equipment or things when he got thrown in wing cars, but did all he could with those opportunities. And then once again, going into the wing industry, once he got placed into good cars and the Marshall regime started, or Clausen regime started branching over into some wing stuff for Courtney, performed amazingly. Look how long did it take him to win the King's Damn Royal? Was it like second year wing racing on a consistent basis? Or was that first? So, what I mean by this is this example of Tyler Courtney's, first of all, skill set is amazing, but his career is probably the best blueprint that we could use. It's a Ricky Thornton Jr.-esque blueprint to give to aspiring race car drivers of the future or aspiring drivers of the future. And I don't know if there's a better one, guys. I don't know if there's a better example. I don't know if there's another guy with as much merit to his career as Tyler Courtney in the top echelon levels of sprint car racing right now. I just don't know if there is one. I haven't seen it personally. Thinking on it, it's not like, the family just bankrolled a situation or this and that, or they had, 10 motors lined up at him for 16 so he can go just, jump the fence at Port Royal to learn how to run a cushion. None of this stuff happened for Tyler Courtney. So I'm just saying, guys, the career is just amazing. And I know I could go in circles and explain things 6 different ways, but I'm not going to. I just got to say, this is, in the fendered world, I idolize it a lot. And if there is a driver, an example, like that flatbed with RTJ, I believe that example is Tyler Courtney. And that is what we could be promoting. And once again, I like it for just adults. We don't need to be promoting these kids and these families. And a lot of people have been messaging me off record that say, Chaz, thank you for talking and speaking up of this, not Corey Day in particular, but this cycle of people, because they know families who have bought the hook in their lip and went into lifetime financial debts to try to accomplish the NASCAR dream. And they could have family wealth for generations, but it's all gone now because the manipulation of this dream coming true and it could happen for your little kitty never happened. That's not going to happen with this mentality. This is a healthy dream. That's what this is, a healthy dream. Obtainable, realistic. And we need to start supporting the fans, in my opinion, need to start getting behind and supporting this way of life. Screw the Kim Kardashians of our industry. That's all that is. That's all that is. I don't think that Tyler Courtney is that either for the sprint car racing industry. Although when I say screw Kim Kardashian, I think, yeah. Anyway. That's all I got for you, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's an interesting day. It's a hard day. It's a hard thing to take. I still, even there just talking, it's almost like I was saying at the beginning of the show, I'm talking about this other stuff just to get that stuff, off my mind. But we got a lot of good things coming up here on the shows. We're still slinging out some good shows and things. We got a really good documentary show coming up with real stock cars, I would call it. Let's see here. We got some really nice pictures from the episode. The Iceman, they call this guy. They call this guy the Iceman. Dustin Viss. And we got a pretty good young one. We got the Vanderbilt. We got a Vanderbilt brand new modify. We kind of do a little clip on. And then this McGuire DeJong or something, this 30M car, he's really good. This is all from Oskaloosa. And I really like the OEM manufacturing representation in these dirt stock cars. The noses on them make them look really cool. We got some really good shots. Yes, I do all these with my cell phone and 2 GoPros. Got some revolutionary GoPro footage that I think everybody's going to see. Look at the crowd for Weekly Race here in Iowa for these stock cars. That's how good these stock cars are. And I'm telling you, the racing was amazing with these with this class. So stay tuned here on the channel. The video is going to be released today from Oscar. Look at that Ford nose, man. Look at that. That's on a damn dirt stock car. In my opinion, the real stock cars. Those stock car drivers can't come over and win in this. Ricky Thornton Jr. had to have that car with the rear end that moves. I'm just saying. To win over there at Clay County. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, it's a good show. We even have behind the scenes pumping of the motors. They crack the hoods on these stock cars, which apparently this is rare to happen. And we got all the footage. Let's just say things got interesting when the tech man said, we're pumping motors. Oh, well, I'll just shut my hood. I ain't gonna I ain't pumping my motor for no just regular old race. Oh, hell no. We also got some sport mod coverage. Look at that. Look at the, what do they call that car? The Weeby or whatever? Oh, and then they're over there checking. But anyways, the Iceman and more Vanderbilt 30M De Jong. That big De Jong. You know what I'm talking about? Anyways. Stay tuned on the channel. Subscribe to it. That is going to be coming out today. But hopefully families with the Jacksonville Speedway situation are doing as well as they can, you know, and the one who survived and the scene there that had to transpire after that occurred just had to be just relatively insane. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. As always, be sure to subscribe, leave your comment below, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Out on the dirt ovals we play, life in the bright lights with no shades. Letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways, living the life, letting her ride, eyesight winning to die. Cross her up on the cushion, crossing the line, cause some drama and some bullshit they didn't like. And if they don't like the move, then we're ready to fight. But this is how we